Hey guys, welcome back to the MLS Updater with me, Mike Rice. The season is fast approaching now as we enter midway through February, and we're going to have a look at 5 different teams across MLS whose fan bases should now be saying, is it about time we panicked? First up, we start in the Eastern Conference with the Columbus Crew, a side who, with bringing in Wilfried Nancy in this off-season from CF Montreal, made most people feel that this is going to be an exciting year and one in which the Crew can get back into the playoffs after missing out in 2022. Interestingly, though, they've lost captain Jonathan Mensah, who's gone to San Jose Earthquakes. Derek Etienne has gone to Atlanta. Artur has gone to Houston. And the main signings they brought in is Jimmy Medranda from Seattle at left back, and Christian Ramirez, a striker's come back from Aberdeen back to MLS. Looking at the way that Nancy plays in Montreal, he really obviously favoured that 3 at the back, 2 wing back system. At the moment, with the sale of Jonathan Mensah, that leaves them very, very light at the back. Milos Dejanek and Josh Williams, the only 2 real sort of experienced centre-backs on that squad. They have promoted Philip Quinton from the MLS Next Pro league. He represented the Columbus Crew when they won the inaugural season last year. So there's a player looking to try and get his way into some first team places, but is this going to be enough? This identifies the fact that maybe the Crew are going to have to maybe continue with that 4-2-3-1, which they used before. But that's not what Nancy is known for. The central midfield as well, a little bit light. Darlington Nagbe, Aidan Morris, great starters, excellent starters in MLS. But behind them, if they need to rotate, they need to move players around. Isaiah Parente, another one from that Columbus Crew 2 side that won MLS Next Pro last year, is one of the backups there. But again, it's very light. They're going to be fine with Zelarayan, Cucho Hernandez. They've brought in Ramirez. They've also got Jason Russell-Rowe, who can push in to compete again for minutes. But there's a number of areas where they're very light. And from what we know of Wilfried Nancy, that system that he used so well, at the moment he won't be able to use. So there's still a lot of questions around this team. Getting an idea of what they want to be and what they're going to do in 2023 is still a little bit up in the air.
You need to, so that's where it's like a little bit of cat and mouse. How do you... And now Kalina caught off his line! Oh, what a goal from Lucas Zelarayan!
Okay, our second team, we go across to the Western Conference, and who else but Minnesota United. This is all centred around what on earth is happening with Reynoso. The DP, the number 10, the key player, is still in Argentina. He hasn't returned for pre-season yet. MLS have fined him for not turning up, and Minnesota United themselves put out a release that just basically said they won't comment further, which will no doubt have sent concerns through the entire fan base in Minnesota. Reynoso is such a key part of the way they go forward, the way they attack. There's no other person on that squad where if you lose them, the whole team changes, other than what we saw with Debasi last year with his injury that ruined their centre of defence and their sort of stability back there, which ended up with them being knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. So Emmanuel Reynoso is one of a kind, and until they get some answers on what's happening there, there's definitely going to be a lot of panic going around. And the fact that no new striker has been brought in, even though they've been searching rumours with those South Korean 2 strikers, but nothing came of. We're going to have to see, but Reynoso is going to be a huge miss, and even if he does return soon, he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. They're going to start on the back foot again, so we'll have to keep your eyes peeled on the Emmanuel Reynoso news, and we'll have to see where he is come the kickoff at the end of February.
Presented by Socios.com. Visit MNUFC.com for more information. Here's Amaria in towards Reynoso.
Okay, the third team, back to the East. The Chicago Fire have made plenty of money this off-season. Obviously, the Gargas Lenina deal went through earlier in the year. He's now permanently left for Chelsea. The John Duran sale to Aston Villa. But we now need to know who's going to come in and fill these spots. Shaqiri did his best last year at times to get the players up to his sort of level. The fact that he provided opportunities that weren't taken just shows that he couldn't be effective in there. And there's another DP on a big wage who just wasn't in a position to be effective. We'll have to. People can make their minds up of whether he's been a bust or whether it's just the team around him, but it's not been the best. It's not been the best start for him, and he'll be hoping for more next year. With John Duran leaving, we've got Castro Shabilko is the starter in the Chicago Fire at the moment. So there's definitely going to be a new arrival coming, but again, it's how quickly can they get this done? How quickly can they get this player assimilated into the squad and competing well? They're hoping for Chris Brady, it seems, to be a step up after his season at Forward Madison last year. Another 18-year-old who is highly regarded by the club. It looks like he should be the starter. They brought in Gahl back from Sweden, but he's been a backup goalie for his entire career. So I'd be very surprised to see him get the starting spot. They're need a new centre forward. They're a bit light in central midfield, like a number of teams. So for the Chicago Fire, looking at the squad right now and looking at how they played last year and how important Slonina and John Duran, even in the short period he was a starter, how important they were to the team. Chicago Fire are looking like another wooden spoon candidate this year, unless they can get something changed relatively quickly. And the last two are both in the East as well. Number 4. Of the fan bases who may want to start having a little bit of concerns is going to be New York City FC. The side have lost huge players over the last 6 months now. Tati Castellanos, Alex Cayens is now gone, Anton Tinnerholm, Sean Johnson, Acevedo, Maxi, all have gone. The entire core of that side has been ripped apart and they're starting again. And for a side who's been a regular playoff team, this could be a difficult year in trying to keep up with other sides who have improved. New York City FC no doubt have a very good reach over what they can, where they're scouting, and the players they're still on there. We've got the likes of Pereira, Tyus Magno, but at the moment he's going to be relied upon as a striker, whereas he's far better on the wing, in my personal opinion, and I think from many others. So there's going to be a lot of questions being raised. Obviously, this is something that will occur and has happened before, where a large number of signings will arrive right at the end and be brought in and hope to push on later in the season and get back into competing for MLS Cup. But Nick Cushing had this opportunity to take over the side from assistant to replacing Ronnie Dahlia when he left, and it took him a while to get the team on the same page as him, and this was with the same group that he'd been the assistant manager for. So now again he will be receiving a whole new bunch of players without the experience that he's had from others who have left within MLS. So we're going to have to see how he can assimilate these players. It's going to be very difficult to do. They've definitely got some quality starters in that squad, but they need to be adding, and they need to be getting used to each other again if they're going to be anywhere near what they were. They did drop slowly, and they dropped off under Cushing from Ronnie Dahlia last year, and with a number of teams improving, they could be at this moment a side who could be missing out on the playoffs.
Nice, good football here from New York, really good.
Deaton Parks into the middle. Tyus Magno plays it ahead, and a little chip, and there it is. Gabby Pereira puts New York City in front in the 9th minute. It is 1-0.
What a goal!
What a goal!
And the final one, again in the East, but they were in the West last year. Nashville are coming back across into the Eastern Conference. And despite being a regular in the playoffs and being a very good side last year, they've once again not been able to open up a DP spot by offloading Ake Lobo. He's gone on loan back to Liga MX, so they're still unable to provide another supporting striker up there with Hani Mukhtar. The new centre-backs partnership will need time to adapt, obviously with Dave Romney going up to the New England Revolution. And there's going to be, again, a lot of reliance on Hani Mukhtar to replicate the season he had last year. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be incredibly hard for a player to do that twice in a row. And we saw in the playoffs how the LA Galaxy just neutralized his threat, and they didn't have enough to really challenge and to really cause any difficulties to an LA Galaxy defense, which weren't at the highest quality in the playoffs last year. Teal Bunbury, CJ Sarpong, are they really going to be strikers to get you many goals this year? Neither are going to get particularly close to double digits, you'd imagine. So they need someone to come up there, and with this issue of Ake Loba, they haven't been able to so far. The central midfield as well, it's aging. We saw it last year, how it was struggling a bit. Now injuries will get picked up a little bit more. They'll need more rotation. But behind those starters, there isn't anyone really that you see as the next one to take over. So there's going to be a lot of things for the club to do. And moving across the east, there are a number of sides in there that have improved. Like we said, the New England Revolution with Dave Romney, they will improve this year. Orlando City will improve again this year. Whether we'll see something different from Atlanta with their new signings, it's going to be a tough one. Nashville should, with the way they've been playing and the fact that there aren't too many new additions coming in, but again, it's going to be relying on players to play above their sort of consistency levels, like Fafa Pico coming in, Randall Leao. Can they affect games more regularly? Because too often they drift out, and again it will be reliance on Mukhtar. And we'll have to see how far he can take them once again. I'd imagine there'll be another playoff run again in 2023 for them, but it's definitely going to be quite a challenge for them.
Mukhtar with Sapong. Mukhtar step over. Mukhtar shot. Goal!
Well, that's it from me. Thanks very much, guys, for listening or watching. However you get involved with this, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and you can follow me at Mike Rice 1983 on Twitter or at the MLS Updater on Twitter. It would be great to keep in contact. Let me know some of your thoughts on any of those teams that you think maybe need to be worrying a little bit more than those 5 that I've highlighted today. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.